Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Zaky. I'm from Teknik Perminyakan D, and my number student 2101-144. In here, I want to present my paper from Journal of Non-Newtonian Fluids Mechanics with title Correlation between the J-liquid transition stress and the storage modulus of an oil-based drilling fluid. Okay, the first is abstract. The rheological characterization of drilling fluids is crucial to ensure an adequate performance of drilling operation. These materials show elastoviscoplastic and thixotropic behaviors simultaneously so that its gel strength is highly affected by the aging time to which the sample is subjected. This work presents experimental evidence of a correlation between the stress overshoot observed in follow startup aromatic experiments after different aging times and the storage modulus. Monitored drilling a low amplitude oscillatory sweep over the aging time. A comparison of the correlation with the measured data at 5 different shear rates show that results lie within error bands of 10%. The results also suggested that the stress overshoot for different aging times can be estimated by using only two theoretic tests. The first, an oscillatory sweep, and two, controlled shear rate experiment. Okay, next is introduction. Oil-based drilling fluids are composed of solid particles, usually limestone or bentonite, suspended in an oil-in-water emulsion. Due to their composition, these materials show a complex rheological behaviors. Therefore, drilling fluids might be considered as elastoviscoplastic thixotropic materials, as they show reversible time-dependent properties and a critical stress that characterizes the transition between two distinct states: a structured solid viscoplastic stage prior to yielding and a viscous fluid behavior at stressors higher than this critical stress. The origin of thixotropy on suspension resides on the aggregation and dissociation of particles when the material is under rest or under shear respectively. Due to the elastoviscoplastic nature of drilling fluids, they deform as viscoelastic solids within the limits of small strains. If the strain's amplitude is low enough to lead to a linear viscoelastic response, the microstructural recovery can be observed through the increase of the storage modulus over time. One way to characterize the startup flow of a structured materials is through a metric shear rate controlled test. A typical result of the stress obtained as a function as a function of the strain after submitting the materials to a constant shear rate at the startup. The aim of this latter is to investigate if there is any correlation between the evolution of the storage modulus over the aging time and the stress overshoot obtained during flow startup experiments after the same aging time. The experiments are conducted for an oil-based drilling fluids. Okay, next is experiments. For the experimental study, an oil-based drilling fluid currently provided by Petrobras was tested in two rotational rheometers, one Mars 3 and two DHR3. The temperature of all the tests was controlled at 25 degrees Celsius by using a Peltier thermostatic bed system. Prior to each experiment, the entire sample was homogenized for 2 minutes in a low-capacity industrial mixer. A new specimen was then extracted from the whole sample and placed in the rheometer. Two types of experiments were performed. One, an oscillatory swab test with a constant frequency of 1 Hz and strain amplitude of 10 to 3. And two, a controlled shear rate experiment, whereas the first aims to keep track of the evolution of the material restructuring by monitoring G action, and G absolute over time. The second was conducted to evaluate the stress overshoot. This is experiment chart. Experiment 1, the time evolution of the dynamic modeling, and experiment 2, the implicit strain and measured shear stress amplitudes in a oscillatory time swab test. Okay, next is result and discussion. The time evolution of G action, and G absolute is shown in experiment 1A. It can be seen that G action rises up over time until reaching its maximum value after 4,500 seconds, which is a result of the material restructuring. Additionally, G action is much higher than G action, so that G absolute is in the same order of magnitude of G action during the whole experiment, indicating the existence of a gel-like structure. Experiment 2B also depicts the stress amplitudes which are at least one order of magnitude smaller than the maximum stress obtained in the startup experiments in picture 3, indicating that the material responds in the linear viscoelastic regime during the whole experiment. This is a pitch 3 chart. Shear stress as a function of strain for the startup shear rate test performed after different aging time. Shear rates controlled at A 0.5 second, and B 1 second, C 5 second, D 10 second, and E 50 second. Okay, result and discussion page 3. Present the shear stress as a function of the shear strain for the startup experiments conducted at shear rates of 0.5 second and 1 second and 5 second and 10 second and 50 second. As shown, all result present maximum values which increase with the egging time and with the shear rate. Nevertheless, the stress overshoot is more sensitive to the egging time than to the shear rate. Okay, next is result and discussion, page 4. Page 4. Page 4 show that the evolution of normalized values of G action and stress overshoot are quite similar. The stress overshoot for each imposed shear rate are plotted against the storage modulus in page 5A to E to show that they are linear correlated. As indicate, the coefficient of determination for all the fits are higher than 0.97 and most results lie within error bands of 10%. Okay, next is result and discussion, page 5. According to the straight lines of page 5, the linear coefficient is 0 and the angular coefficient can be calculated as the ratio of the maximum stress overshoot and the maximum storage modulus, both measured after 4,500 seconds of egging. Therefore, the stress overshoot can be written as a function of storage modulus according to the following equation, where TA is the egging time. Okay, next is conclusion. The conclusion from this experiment is: first, the result of the correlation between the stress overshoot and the storage modulus lie within error bands of 10%. Second conclusion, the correlation is observed in a range of shear rates varying from 0.5 to 50 seconds. Third conclusion, the stress overshoot for different egging times can be estimated by using only two rheometric tests, an oscillatory swab and a coloration shear rate experiment. For conclusion, the stress overshoot is more sensitive to the egging time than to the shear rate. Okay, that's all from my explanation. If there are wrong words, please forgive me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. I am Muhammad Sakrehan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.